Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating in this Café Talk. Let me introduce myself at the beginning. I am Benedetta Burchiellaro, and I am the product manager for Insight. And this afternoon, together, basically, I'm here to tell you a story, to make you part of the project that Insight has become in the last few years and the progressions that we are making in the next few steps. It's very interesting for me of being here in this amazing Interno Academy, which is the space that we created and studied to be a home for the Insight community. And it's very important for us to let you participate from all over the globe. So since we know that the brand during the years has grown in so many different countries, and thank you again for participating from so many different time zones, it's very important for us to be a community and to start creating new ways of communicating with you all. The idea of this first meeting, we all together are sharing this next minutes and half an hour, will be to tell you and to discover a little bit more about the philosophy of Insight and why we made some choices. Basically, what is important for me to always highlight when I speak about the project and speak about Insight as a brand, as a living entity, is that 13 years ago, more or less, when the brand before started, it was a sustainable brand with the state-of-the-art cosmetic formulation that could be the more sustainable possible. But during the days, during the years that has come after that, of course, all the formulas and processes and active ingredients and product itself became something different, and we needed to evolve in something different. And today we are very glad to share with you all the evolution of Insight and the new, let's say, dress that it has taken in the last years. It's a privilege for me to tell you all the things that we overcome in the last few years in order to be able to share with you this huge and important project that Insight today is all over the globe. And it's a very privilege for myself because I was the person, let's say, in charge of targeting the old Insight into a new version and make it a stronger brand and a more approachable brand in the sustainable market. It's interesting to consider that when Insight first started, all the attention was to sustainable formulations and sustainable processes in making the formulas. During the years, of course, the decisions that we made was regarding the packaging, the communication, and the way how we could grow a community around the decision that we made. The interesting is that after all those years and all the things that we overcome all together, we are proudly able to call us a community around the project. And what we say all the time is, it's not what Insight is, it's not what we are, but it's what you that decide to work with us are. It's important to understand that because we can promote Insight as a brand, we can promote it as a project, we can promote it also as a bunch of products. But what is important, what really makes the difference nowadays, is to be part of a group of people that shares the same philosophy, not only in working, but in living and in consuming. And it's important for all the people around us to really embrace what is important for us in a state of sustainability and in the state of what we communicate and how we communicate the main pillars of the brand. So today it's important for me to share all the things that are important for me as a part of the group and as a part of the brand, and to make sure that my listener can really embrace those kind of concepts in order to really create a community around that. Because we all know that nowadays the cosmetic market, the cosmetic industry has become more and more aggressive, speaking about marketing, speaking about communications and claims and things that we can say or cannot say. But what is really important, what makes the real difference, is how the people can relate with the brand. And the stronger you are as a communication, the stronger is your pillars, and the strongest you are demonstrating that what you're stating is right and it's true, and the more you will gain people that just thinks like you, thinks the same things that you think. And this is something that starts with understanding a little bit better what is around a cosmetic company and what is around a cosmetic brand, because these are two different things, two different entities in the project of creating something that you can share with your customers and you can use by yourself and you can basically find on the shelves. So starting from the very starting point, at the beginning, we call ourselves the apothecary of the third millennium because we create products out of natural ingredients, out of natural extractions. And we try to make them the best performance possible, and we try to make them the more stable possible, because we know that naturality can be a claim but can also be a trick, chemically speaking. So it's something that it's very important for us, it's something that is mandatory for us, but at the same time we always keep an eye on the professionals and we always keep an eye on the performance of the product itself in order to find the perfect balance between these two main characteristics. Basically, as we call ourselves the apothecaries of the third millennium, is that because in the majority of our formulations, the entire hair care range, we do have organic ingredients, biological ingredients, and we do carry different certifications that can state that. The state of the art of the formula makes them the most sustainable formulas possible in the hair care professional sector. But at the same time, we need to keep the attention on how the products perform inside the salon and how they help the hairdressers and all the players in the market work with the brand. Basically, the idea of having two different entities in your mind, one is inside the brand and one is the company that makes the product. So we do have different certifications for both of these entities in order to guarantee the state of the art regarding the sustainability in both senses. So one is related to the formulas, so stick to the brand, and one is related to the processes of making the products. And these are two different, very big umbrellas in which me as a product manager and the colleague with myself that helps me develop new products and monitoring the existing products, it's important to work on both of them with the same attention and with the same amount of effort in order to guarantee the most sustainable products possible. Basically, when I started working with Insight, the formula already had a very high grade of naturality. So basically it was easy to make a little bit of adjustments, a little bit of improvements in the formulas, but basically the formulations were already very nice to be used, and it created a sort of addiction in the customer. So speaking about the textures, the rheology of the product, the smells, it's something that makes the consumer rebuy the product. And this is like the Gotha for marketing people. This is like what we aim to have as a brand, something that makes itself resellable and rebuyable. It's the perfect thing, it's the perfect position. But since I am in a company that always tries and always search for better itself and to make the formulas better and to improve the processes, this was not the case. This was just a starting point. And beside that, all around the formulas, we created an entire new system of products and communication that is actually now the Insight brand that you know and love. The important thing about knowing that the formulations were already at this point the perfect formulations for this specific moment, but we always look for improvements also in the formulas, is that actually we needed to focus on all the other parts that makes a cosmetic product, which is not only formulas, it's so many things more. Basically, having the perfect let's say, perfect formulations, forced us to work on something else, to work on the container, because the content was already at the state of the art. So basically, when I came into the project and we started working on the Insight brand that you know nowadays, we focused necessarily on materials, on the packaging, on the container, on the processes that makes the container at the same time affordable, usable, good looking, and nice to use, to create a user experience that embrace the work of the hairdresser on one side and the experience that the final consumers has at home. It was important for us to find the perfect balance between what was our idea of sustainability that embrace all the parts of a cosmetic product to what is actually applicable to a cosmetic formulations and to an industrial process. And this is where the parts becomes a little bit more difficult to understand at the first instance, but it's something that really makes the core of our philosophy and makes the reasons why we made some choices. And of course, I'm speaking about packaging. Packaging is something that we really would like to avoid. We would really love to live in a world where packaging is not needed. But it's not the case, unfortunately. As you all know, Insight is based in Bologna, is an Italian brand, and we are in a very little country in the middle of Europe, but we do sell products all over the globe. So packaging is definitely something that we need. We need it to protect the formulations, we need to ship the formulation, to ship the products all over the globe, and to make the products available in the countries you are in this moment. So definitely something that we needed to work on, and we tried to make it in the best way possible. The idea was to find the right solution, the right, I'd say, compromise between what is nice to see, nice to have on a shelf in a salon, and what is sustainable as a product and as a material. Basically, the idea behind those huge rebranding that we experienced in the last couple of years was working and thinking a little bit forward what we are experiencing in the present moment, in the present time, and looking on what will become a huge matter for the entire humanity in the next decade. What is interesting about working in this company and working for this brand is that we always think forward, we always look at the future, and so we need to be ready for when the real waste management problem will become a problem that is felt by the entire population. But not only be ready, but be a driver for the change, be someone to rely if you want to participate in this matter. And having this idea in mind allowed us to really, let's say, be sure and be ready for this kind of change that we know can create some uncertainties in the partners that decide to join the community of Insight. But if you think about Insight, the brand, the name, has already everything in the name. Insight in English is a sort of intuition, let's say, something that comes from within. The word itself says we need to follow the intuition. We need to be ready for the change and feel that this intuition that we were ready to use different materials regarding in the, let's say, different materials in respect of our competitors was the right choice. It was the right moment. It is now the right moment to embrace this community and to embrace this philosophy. Basically, when we decided to switch all the packaging from recycled plastic to glass in one case, which is infinitely recyclable, it's a material that, chemically speaking, is perfectly inert, so it doesn't compromise the formulations almost in any case. It's almost impossible. It's the best material, for example, if you think about pharmaceutical or if you think about agroalimentary things, so in your kitchens and in the pharmacies, glass is something that contains every kind of different chemical formulation without interfere in the stability of the formulation. So speaking about a pure chemical point of view, glass is the perfect material. Amber glass, that like the one that we do have in our range, is again even more adaptive to chemical formulations because its color protects also the formulations from the UV rays outside. So it's making it even more of a protection for our formulas that, as I said, are always the starting point. But at the same time, we do know that glass has different characteristics, let's say. It can break when falling, or it's heavier than plastic. So we made a lot of evaluation and we ended up having these very nice looking bottles that are made just for us, just out of our design, in order to minimize breakage in case of falling, but at the same time being as light as possible to be easy to use for hairdressers and for end consumers. So as you see, what is something that you see on a shelf actually has a lot of thinking behind. And this is the time for me to share with you all these kind of ideas that we got in the meantime and that became, after that, real products that you can actually touch and feel and love. So it's very important to consider that all those kind of things were creating a 360 degrees approach around the products that starts from the formulations and build up different decisions and different reasons why we made those products like the ones that you're seeing and loving in all of your markets. The same is, for example, for the aluminum. Again, aluminum is a very lightweight and tactile material that can be recycled infinitely times. It's something that allowed us to give inside a different feel, a little bit more lived in. Also inside the salon is something that I do love, and you may have seen some communications about how the tubes are scratching and how they are transforming while they are using by people. That feels that it's a real demonstration on how the product is not just a product, a routine that you repeat. It's something that becomes part of your life, becomes part of your daily routine and changes with you. This was the message behind let's say the choices that we made regarding the products that, as I said at the beginning, follows a lot of certifications regarding the formulas and regarding the processes. All of our formulations are dermatologically tested. This is something that was very important for me when I arrived because it's something that is very common, for example, in skincare and product for the skin, because we all know skin is the biggest and widest organ in our system, so we need to treat it well. But nobody thinks about the formulas that comes in contact with the scalp, that comes in contact with the hand of the hairdresser all day long when they work with the formulations. And so nobody actually certified dermatologically the products, the formulation for the hair, because you think about the hair, but you do not think about the skin that comes with it. And it's important to understand that when we perfect a formula, when we project a formula which is sustainable, needs to be effective, and needs to do what it promises, we also need to make it safe to be used and to be used continuously. So while I'm speaking, I hope that you get the message of how long those kind of processes take, because it's a matter of trial and error, and try to find the perfect formulation and the perfect solution for a broad range like the Insight one, which actually follows the hair salon in any aspect, because we do have products for all the needs inside the reality of the salon. So it's very important to understand how much effort and how much thinking is behind any of these formulations. It's interesting also, speaking about the processes that comes with the product, that we do use ozonated water inside all the formulas. It's something that is written on the label in the front, so you can see it by yourself if you are an hairdresser or if you are an end consumer. It's something that you will come in contact if you use the Insight product. But what is ozonated water? It's just let's say a medium for us to minimize the pollution of the formula with preservatives. Because actually using ozonated water purifies the formula itself, makes it more stronger towards aggressions of external bacteria, but at the same time is a process that allowed us to reduce the impact of the production of formulas. So we reduce the amount of chemicals that we use in production by using ozonated water. And those kind of attentions that of course didn't came up like this one morning, but it's the result, it's the output of a decade of evolving of the project of Insight. It's something that creates for us a very, let's say, a pin of let's say, something that is important for us to share, because it's a matter of how we are very proud of the decision that we make. And those kind of decisions actually gained us certifications like the ISO 9001 for the production, or the 14001 certification that is on the sustainability of the processes. We do follow the GMPs, so the good manufacturing practices, in our facility here in Bologna in order to guarantee the best formulations, speaking about efficacy, but also speaking about safety, because it's important to always remember that we work with professionals. We want them to be safe using our products and to be satisfied by the, as I said, the perfumes, the textures, and the efficacy of the product itself. It's something that is really important for us, and that is part of our proud project that we want for you to participate in this today. Today, it's very interesting for me to share with you all the information that I got during the rebranding and during creating this new project, because I was part of the decisions, and I let's say, overviewed all the new technical approaches that we made in this new project that was Insight. For example, beside the fact that we dermatologically test all the product, we also implemented some interesting technological let's say, helps for the distributors and for us as a company in order to counteract counterfeiting. And this very interesting project is called RFID, and it carries an antenna behind every label in the products that allows us to trace and to control all the products. And it's also a guarantee of originality and safety for the consumers on the market. We did so because we wanted to really create a product that was like closing the loop of sustainability and closing the loop of how the consumers can approach a cosmetic brand like ours. Because we know that nowadays it's very important to state what we communicate and state what you share with the people as a brand, as a cosmetic brand, because nowadays consumers are more and more informed about what is true, what is not. We overcome a lot of difficulties working with so many different countries, because in every country you have to defeat different regulations about what you can see, what you can say or what you cannot say regarding the greenwashing. And this is also an interesting approach on how the market is changing nowadays. All the brands that state to be sustainable nowadays, if they want to continue communicate like this, need to certify that, need to state that, need to demonstrate to ministries and to regulations that is actually true, that is actually something that they can state. So for us, has always been like this. So when I arrived at the company at the beginning, I was quite surprised on how the regulatory affairs and the R&D department were into the communications. They were overdoing, they were controlling everything about how we communicated the product and how we communicated the brand in a way that was very invasive if you compare to the other markets and to other products. But this is something that now that I entered the system and the community and the family of Insight, it's something that gives myself the, let's say, the safety and the position to sit straight in front of you and telling that everything that I'm saying you is true because I can test it, I can certify it. And it's something that should be encouraging for every partner during the chain, because it's something that gives you the certainty that you are communicating the truth, and it's something that consumers in the time more and more will ask for and will, let's say in a matter they will need it to really embrace a product and to really embrace a project like ours. So as I said at the beginning, it's always important to remember that it's not only the product that we sell, the product that we promote with you, the product that we put on the shelves of the salons all around the globe, but it's more of a philosophy that we want to share and a way of thinking. And if you think about Insight as this, every choice that we make in the future will become easy to understand and will become easy to embrace, because it's a sort of a double connection that we have, me to you and you to myself, in which I do create new products and I do promote projects to you, but at the same time I get back what is the market is telling me if I'm doing the right thing. And what I want to do for the next decade is to attract people that just think like us and can share the block of philosophy and of pillars that are important to us. It's not only about how the products are good, because me and you, we all know that the world is full of good formulas, it's full of good products that do what they promise to do. But nowadays, and let's say the trick for the next few years will be to attract a community of consumers and attract a community of people that share with you the same values. This is something that I think Insight has thought at the beginning when we started working with the brand, and has become more and more visible and more important nowadays, because it's actually like we are moving a little bit step forward, a couple of years, 5 years, not so much, but a little bit earlier than the others. We are just like the opinion leaders, let's say. So we are moving a little bit in the future in order to be ready to everything that will come. And I'm very glad that you are here with us today to really understand and share those values, in order also to consider yourself as as an active part of the process. And to be here is already an exchange of intentions, let's say, so that it's really visible and clear that we do share the same philosophy in creating products, but the same philosophy in creating a new way of living, which will be more sustainable, more recyclable, but in a performative way, in a very futuristic way. So do not think about the sustainability as we were used to, you know, like the green leaf on the corner and just putting something in the shelves that recalls the naturality of the formulations. Consumers will not be satisfied by that. It will not be enough in the next future. We need to be more scientific on how we really are sustainable in creating formulas and creating new products. So, of course, also with all the processes that go with it. I think that almost my time is finished here. And I definitely shared a little bit of the values that are important to myself, and I hope that you will resonate with those, and it's something that you can rely on and that you can feel as yours. I think it's very important for us in this moment to let's say embrace each other and stay together and create a community around what we do believe will be the future of the cosmetic industry, speaking about the professional hair care. So it's a very specific time, it's a very, let's say, peculiar period of our lives. So at least decide on which side we want to stay. So stay tuned with the Café Talk. It's always a pleasure staying with you. Thank you very much.